Hi, folks. This is Mountainman coming to you from parts unknown. Ha, boy. How's everybody doing tonight? I hope everybody's doing well. I'm doing all right, too. We'll wait for some people to get in the chats here. And if you're new to the program, welcome aboard. And if you don't like Mr. T, well, just hang out and listen to what I got to say. And if you want to talk in the chats, that's fine, too. Go ahead and key something in, but we don't use wordy dirds here, and we're not mean to each other, but you can tell me, if you don't like Mr. T or whatever, you think he's, you tell me to go ahead as long as you don't use wordy dirds. Anyway, but here we are, and I put this little picture up of Mr. T looking down at Hillary, and that's before he became president, and soon, right? Okay, I got on my thumbnail that Obama's nervous, and Mike, I should have put Big Mike, but can't sleep. I've got a couple of video clips I'll play pertaining to that. And the clock is ticking. We got big things coming up all week, actually, all through the month. And I'll be playing some clips that will lay out some dates that we got to keep our eyes on. Now, the tractor situation in Germany was big, 360 locations. But what did I say? The media has the greatest power. The greatest power is the power to ignore. So very little came through with that. Hi, Nikki, how you doing? Karen, how are you? Doc, how you doing? Andrew, Damon. Nice to see everybody rolling in. Mike 1176, Judy, Andrew, Alan, Kim, William, nice to see you. Sissy, Sherry, hi, Donna, Robin, nice to see you, Robin. Let's see, Melinda, we got Angela, Angel, good, and everybody's rolling in. Well, I might as well say it. Happy birthday to Elvi. Elvi, it's his birthday. And I guess a lot of you heard that they were going to do some kind of AI concert for Elvi, an AI concert, artificial, whatever. So I don't know. We'll see how it turns out. They probably have 6 fingers. Nothing beats the real deal. But some people say he's still wandering around somewhere. Along with other people, but we won't worry about that. Happy birthday, Elvi. And I got a little thing up with the Babylon Bee, because as you know, they're giving Texas a hard way to go. Texas is trying to pass laws to keep the immigrants out, and or send them off to these cities that said, hey, we're a sanctuary. We'd love to have you. Well, here we are. Get out of here. Ha, ha, ha. Hi, Island Girl. How you doing? Melinda. 20 fingers to dead edge. Yeah. Yeah, that's right, Diane. Prime Minister of France resigned. Hi, Susie. Let's see. Yes. Nikki said hit the thumbs up. Everybody, hey, Tennessee, how you doing? Gloria, if I missed anybody, please forgive me. Worse, I got that. Here it is. French President Emmanuel Macron. Now, talk about the power to ignore. Do you hear any big news, any news agency talk about this? Not stuff you found on the internet. I'm talking the TV stuff. Rachel Madcow and all that bunch. French President Emmanuel Macron has announced Elizabeth Borne's resignation as prime minister, thanking the politician for her work. Hit that road. So, yeah. Keep an eye on resignations. Isn't that funny? And that was going on right when Lloyd Austin. What's going on with that? I mean, elective surgery? What's he going to come out looking like Diane Warwick? I don't know. They won't tell us what it is. Diana Ross? But anyway, I think I got some clips pertaining to that. Yeah, I got one clip where, you can't read print very good, so I'll play that later. But I suppose everybody's heard that Obama had a luncheon in December with Sleepy Creepy Joe and said he's got to get more aggressive with Trump. Concerned. How much more aggressive can you get? They're filing charges against him every foggy day. Here, Rudy Giuliani, you can see how worried he is about everything. He puts up stuff like this. People who've had their political opponents arrested. Right? Here they are. It's not often you see Rudy putting up a meme, but he put up a good one. So how much more aggressive do they want to get with our president? The 45th president of the United States. Miss Mindersu, how you doing? Nice to see you. I'm just scanning through the chats. Haha. So anyway, yeah, I got a number of memes, but I had something in my my quiver that I wanted to talk about from the 17 posts, right? And I never did get to it. I was talking about how we heard the word pause a lot. All of a sudden, out of the blue, everything was paused. And right after Mr. Trump, President Trump said, we needed to have our pause. And, well, before I knew it, an hour and a half had gone by in the broadcast, and I said, I can't go back to that. I'll do it some other day. So anyway, here it is, a 17 post. 17 post, right? Pause. I looked up the word pause. And it's fun to go in there sometimes and look up different things using just a word or a couple of words. I've been through that in my past broadcasts. I said, I picked a set of words, said, you want to do a little homework on the 17 board? Just key in these words, just those words. So I put in pause. And so this was 3524. Remember, there's close to 5,000 posts, July 27, 2019. And Mr. T had tweeted this meme out. You see it in front of you, and I put it up before. Now that the Russian collusion is a proven lie. When do the trials for Tree and then Zun begin? And it shows all the usual suspects in jail. And Trump himself tweeted that. So I cut off all identifying features of this post. So it's not signed with that single letter. But it says the President of the United States retweeted this graphic. Pause. Reread above. Okay. The President of the United States retweeted this graphic. Pause. Reread above again. Okay. The President of the United States retweeted this graphic. Nature is unpredictable. Now, whether it's said for me to reread the President of the United States, this above, I get the message. Now that the Russia collusion is a proven lie, when do the trials begin? The President of the United States. I get it. Something's going to hit the fan, in other words, using that word pause, and all of a sudden became part of our vernacular. So we were getting gaslighted today about somebody who had given testimony and then recanted it, got talked into trying to mix Mr. T in with all that shenanigans on the island, right? And that's all. What do they say? Been debunked. But anyway, I've got over 700 video clips in my arsenal. It's a lot. So I had to go run around looking for some, and I've got a couple with Mr. T that I'm going to play. And yes, Mr. T is going to be in for his hearing. Island Girl, I saw it. Hi, Kicking Bird. How you doing? Clay, how you doing? Pappy Two Bear, single songwriter. So I got a couple of clips, and I'm, hoping for some people with the T and then the D and then the S in their psychological profile would come in and listen to some of this stuff. This is a real short clip, but it tells you a lot. As Dave says on X22, everything you need to know.
But nice guy, got a lot with Jeffrey Epstein. A lot of problems.
A lot of problems with that famous island coming up. A lot of problems. Boy, I hope my volume's better on my other clips than that one. We shall see, because I'll be mad, because I took a lot of time to get some of these clips. Look what the New Yorker put on their front page. This is a communist rag. I had some almost in-laws. They were almost in-laws. And they used to get this mailed to them. I guess it was bi-weekly. I think it was weekly or bi-weekly. And stacks of this garbage. But this is the cover they decided to put up of President Trump. Jack boots. Supposedly goose-stepping like Mussolini used to in the 1930 films. And like I said, that's the only dictator I've ever seen that doesn't have any office and is having to sit in the courtroom every foggy day, sunny day, windy day, whatever. That's quite the dictator, but they're throwing this garbage out there. Here's a clip where they're talking about Barry Soweto, a.k.a. Rock Hussein. And that's his name. Don't get mad at me. I didn't name him. That's the name they gave him, middle name. Finally got honest about it.
As President Biden ramps up The Washington Post reporting former President Obama has raised questions about the structure of President Biden's reelection campaign. Two sources confirmed to NBC News that Obama and Biden met over lunch in December and discussed the campaign, with Obama expressing deep concern about Mr. Trump's political strength. Underscoring the urgency, one source telling me this is an all-hands-on-deck moment.
All hands on deck. Oh, a little bit of combat talk, huh? Anyway, here's Michelle, or Mike Shell, or whatever. Now, I don't want to get too, let me blow this up kind of big. It doesn't look the same to me. I don't know. I don't want to get too much. It's something about the jawline and the teeth. And usually her shoulders are kind of like a linebacker's, This is a little more, I don't know, but she's saying how concerned she is. Okay, here we go.
Up because you don't have control over them, and you wonder, where are we in this? Where are our hearts? What's going to happen in this next election? I am terrified about what could possibly happen, because our leaders matter. Who we select, who speaks for us, who holds that bully pulpit. It affects us in ways that sometimes I think people take for granted.
I don't know. What do y'all think? But she's starting to come out, or whatever. She is starting to come out, and we'll see what's going to go on with it. But I just thought I'd play that because they're definitely giving public expressions of nervousness. And Joe, here's a little clip just to remind everybody what they think of Joe. Okay, they just ignore him where he's at in the pecking order. I mean, Joe's all but pulling him down by his collar, and he won't even acknowledge him. And that tells me that they really don't. They've already made up their mind about Joe. Joe's going to go, in my opinion, Joe's going to go. And it's just like what's being said here. Like with Lloyd Austin, they don't care that Lloyd Austin. The main thing is what these people are saying, not the print below. This is about Lloyd Austin being out for over a week and nobody even knowing about it. Biden not even knowing about it. The people that are running the White House know what's going on. And like I said, what kind of elected procedure could he have? But anyway, this is a good point that he brings up as about this business of nobody knowing what the heck's going on in the White House. And it might tell us a little bit about the dynamics of who's really running the show.
You're reacting to this. But what we were told from the Pentagon spokesperson just a short time ago is that the reason it took so long for the president and the National Security Council to learn of Austin's hospitalization is because his chief of staff had the flu. That is really the response that we are getting right now. Have you been independently told anything about this because of your position on the committee?
No, Sandra, that answer is preposterous. Of course, the Secretary of Defense has a large number of aides around him, to include a senior military aide, a three-star general, who should be in constant communication with the White House and the National Security Council under such circumstances. But the Department of Defense is being as secretive and are stonewalling Congress as much as they are the American people, and frankly, as much as they did the White House. I mean, it raises some troubling questions. If this administration would conceal a mere elective minor surgery for a cabinet secretary, what might they be concealing about Joe Biden's health? Or another question, what's worse, that the Secretary of Defense was hospitalized and unable to perform his duty for 4 days without the President of the United States knowing, much less the Congress or the public, or the fact that the President and no one at the White House noticed? Again, it raises questions about Joe Biden's competence and whether he's really in charge at the White House. We have to get the answers about what kind of procedure this was, why it was chosen to undergo now, and why no one chose to inform the President of the United States or his senior aides, much less Congress or the American people, that the Secretary of Defense was hospitalized and unable to perform his duties.
I mean, you got to think international affairs
to be more forthcoming.
Well, the one thing is like he said, if they're not even telling us about this with Austin, what are they holding back about Biden? What are they holding back about Biden as far as his health? And this business of it being elective surgery or whatever, and he had to be in ICU, intensive care, for 4 days. That's what I could be saying it as a joke, but what if I don't know, is he transitioning? I don't know. Look what we've had in there, because you can get really, you can have complications from that. And I don't know what could be elective. I mean, it's not like you got a hangnail that's going to put you in ICU. But anyway, that's what I was saying, you know. What's he going to come out like Diane Carroll? Let's see what everybody's going on. Talking about here, just checking the chats. Hi, Ken. How you doing? Nice to see you. Kicking Bird. Lloyd was at the spa getting his nails done. I think it was something, you know, it had to be more than that for him to be in the be in intensive care. You know, before anybody found out about it was 4 days. I don't know how long he was in intensive care. So, you know, could have been longer. Single songwriter said stomach ulcers. That's not elective, I don't think. Elective means, you know, you can do without it. It's a preferential thing. That's, you know, I know I'm beating it to death, but really it's a concern. But anyway, this is one thing I wanted people to see. And I think it's past the point. I played this before. I had to go way back to find it. To prove to people, I put up the tweets that got taken down. You all have seen me do it multiple times on our broadcast. I put up 3 tweets by Mr. T that were taken down. Most people just put up the 2, but there's a third one that got taken down on the day of J6, you know. And finally, this video here, which I said, in my opinion, the Insurrection Act, the president has to make a proclamation that includes telling people to retire to their abodes, their homes, and be peaceable. So they took this down within 5 minutes, okay? But I'm going to play it for all the people that doubt me, and I know very few of you all out there now doubt me, but this is for any of the people that show up and don't believe it. This was said January 6th. This is not an insurrectionist. This is a leader that, in my opinion, invoked the Insurrection Act.
I know you're hurt. We had an election that was stolen from us. It was a land, especially the other side. But you have to go home now. We have to have peace. We have to have law and order. We have to respect our great people in law and order. We don't want anybody hurt. It's a very tough period of time. There's never been a time like this where such a thing happened, where they could take it away from all of us, from me, from you, from our country. This was a fraudulent election, but we can't play into the hands of these people. We have to have peace. So go home. We love you. You're very special. You've seen what happens. You see the way others are treated that are so bad and so evil. I know how you feel. But go home and go home in peace.
You heard the necessary words of a proclamation. You heard him mention peace a number of times. You heard him mention go home a number of times. And at the end, he said it exactly the way it's required. So if I disappear for a week, you know, this is still flagged because I don't plan on you know, putting anything in there that in this broadcast that's going to cause problems. But except for one here, right here. You all take a guess. Who is this? Who are you looking at right here? Who are you looking at? Let me see if you all get it in the chats. Is it somebody who's got a bad case of heartburn? Or what is that? I'll make it move in a minute. I took the song out because I don't want to get a copyright strike. But this thing actually moves. And I'll show you all. Hey, CJ 1975, how you doing? I'll just stick with CJ. Okay. Freedom Rider, how you doing? Nice to see you. CJ got it. Magdagana. That's kind of like a Godzilla or something that would oppose Godzilla. Come flying out of the sky, the mad dogana. Anyway, watch it move. Let me see here. There, oh God. You know, people pay money. People pay money to see that. That's one of the biggest stars. What do you mean she's nasty? I had that up a little too. Whoa, wait a minute. There we go. I should have had it. Well, that's all right. It's offensive enough. But anyway, let me see what Rosie O'Dogma. She's going number 2. Hi, Ivan. How you doing? Sorry I had to make you require eye drops. But, you know, hey, people pay money to see that stuff. That wasn't a proclamation, Freedom said. He didn't announce that the election was not stolen. I don't get you. That wasn't a proclamation. He didn't announce that the election was not stolen. No, he announced that it was stolen. Is that what you meant to type, or am I getting it wrong? It's late, you know, and I'm old, so I don't want to be making mistakes. So while I wait for your response, I will show you some footage from Germany, where the Germs live. Not only did they have the truckers, but they blocked off the canals with barges. They couldn't even get grain through, which is saying something. So they blocked off canals. And here is, I think this is in Dresden. Some more scenes. I tell you, folks, I could have got a half an hour of different footage from different cities. Like I said, 360 different protests around Germany. Okay. I still got some more German footage, but I'm seeing what you got, what you're writing there, Freedom. I don't know what to tell you. I showed you where there were more votes than there were actual voters in the country, and I told you could goggle that for yourself. I don't know what state you live in. Don't let people know what state you live in. But you can look up how many counties are in your state. It's all public information. You can look up how many registered voters there were. You can do that with 50 states. People have done it. You do a quick math, and then you look at the vote totals, 76 million for Trump, 81 million for Biden, and you see that there were more than there were actual voters in the country, okay? Millions more, all right? So I don't know what else to tell you. But here, this is either Berlin or Dresden. It's the only time I saw that there was some kind of conflicts with the cops. And what the news was putting out, was that the farmers were mad because of the gas tax, okay, which is misleading. They were mad about the extra carbon garbage, about this hoax about global warming. But really, what they were angry about was Agenda 2030. And but anyway, I'll get into that in a little more. Let me play this little clip here with the police involved.
Aufkündigung von ausüben. Aufkündigung von Freihandelsabkommen und zollfreien Importen, die Preisdruck ausüben.
No, that was Berlin. I'm sorry, that was peaceful. That was everybody gathering in Berlin. This is Dresden, where some cops got involved. And you rarely see that in modern day Germany. And, you know, I was worried about provocateurs. And if you listen real close, I think you'll hear somebody shout Sig Heil. I think there might have been some people in there trying to stir up trouble. So from what I understand, it didn't blow up into anything, you know, overwhelming. But I see what you guys are saying. But freedom, we go back and forth. And he also is my financial expert. He's my financial expert on the channel. So for when we talk about going to gold currency, gold and silver, we got to have a financial expert, even if he's got a few tumors in his brain, single songwriter. So we'll go back and forth. It's no big deal. Let's see. Freedom said, Mountainman, you know all of this has been debunked. Oh, it's funny. Wait a minute. Where'd it go? It's been debunked. If you are suggesting a conspiracy that would require tens of thousands of people and no one has come forward to expose it, it is nuts. Okay, well, I see what you're saying, but let me take you to do a bit of math. Look up how many counties you have in your state. Not right now, but because I'll just make the math real simple. Say you got 50 counties in your state. How many precincts do you have in your state? In each county, I mean. You can look up how many voting precincts you have, because precincts report. They're the ones that report, okay? So if you got 50 counties and each one's got, say 4 precincts, that's 200 precincts, okay? Say half of them are crooked. 100 precincts with 3 crooked people. Okay? That's 300 in that state. We got video. I'm talking one state. Now do the math by 50. Okay? 300 times 50. Then you're into thousands of people, right? How many videos did we see of one person in one precinct pumping through over and over and over again in the same contraption? Okay, that's a mechanical device I'm talking about. thousands of votes. So right there, it's extremely simple. You see, Freedom, there you are, typing and not listening. That is something I cautioned you about. You are proving my point. It would take a massive amount of people to carry out this conspiracy. What the hell are you talking about? I just explained it to you if you had been listening and not been typing. I just went to the trouble of doing math for you. We saw on video one person pump through thousands of ballots multiple times, and it took them a matter of minutes. And I just did the math how you can have thousands of people in the precinct, working in the precinct. That does not count the people out on the street. Okay? They call them MULES. That doesn't even count them. You know what? When I used to work in elections, I had friends that were candidates. Did you ever hear the term walking around money? A little bit of walk around money. Did you ever hear about a pint? Give somebody a taste. Pack of cigarettes. Some walking around money. You know, back in the day, the 70s, 80s, 90s, back when we had paper bags with little tweed handles for grocery bags. You had a bunch of pint bottles in there, packs of cigarettes. In your pocket, you had a lot of $5 bills. Walking around money, little walking around money. You go around and say, hey, did you go vote yet? No, well, come on, man. I'll take you to the precinct. Here's a little bit of walk around money. Need some cigarettes? Come on, let's go down here and vote. That wasn't stealing votes. That was just giving people a little walk around money, a little taste, a pack of smokes. Give them a ride to the precinct. That's not stealing nothing. That's not harvesting paper. That's bringing an actual human being, an American citizen. And a cold day, you give them a little antifreeze, a little taste. I could get 100 votes. And if you're in a small town, that's an election. Not to say that I did that. I'm just saying, perfectly legal. Perfectly legal. Somebody came by my house yeah, hello? Who is it? Hey, Mountainman, did you go to vote yet? No, I haven't had a chance. It's cold. Oh, you want to taste? Yeah. Here, I'll give you a ride. Oh, okay. And I get my little pint and go down there and vote. It slipped my mind. If it wasn't for my friend, come by, give me a little walking around money. That's not fraud. When you get pieces of paper filled out by people who aren't even citizens, when you get people sitting at a table scribbling other people's signatures, made up signatures, when you go through death certificates to get information, that is fraud. Freedom. So don't try to pin that on me. I was going around working a campaign the American way. I was taking care of my neighbors, my fellow voters. I made sure they had a little antifreeze in the winter. I made sure they had a little bit of walk around money. So did you hear, Freedom, did you hear me play Trump's proclamation? Did you hear it? Or did you come in at the back end? Richard, yeah, peppermint schnapps. Well, what was easy? It was either bathtub gin, it was either vodka, gin, or bourbon. Well, no, it wasn't really bourbon. It was the blend, like Paul Revere or something like that, the cheapest you get. But hey, Hi, Roy. How you doing? Riding around in circles with that puncture. I missed something. So did you hear, Freedom, did you hear, a single songwriter said, Freedom Riders a Bernie bro. Bernie bro, you might as well be a communist. It's same suit, different bow tie. Communist socialism is the same thing. If you're a commie, that's your business, but you're not, by law, you're not allowed to be working for the federal government. But that's another story. Is there mental illness? There's a meme for you to get a little screenshot of, folks. And I can't see the answer if let me see. What's that? Christine. Christine said, what I believe in the Mountainman is that many people that vote don't know anything about anyone on the ballot. They just voted for the name. But I truly don't know what the heck they're. Well, that's true. A lot of people, if you talk about board of supervisor races and the town mayor, stuff like that, you got to spend $100 on a little bit of go-go juice and some cheap smokes. Back then it was cheap. You end up, hey, next thing you know, you're the mayor. It was not a proclamation that any court would support. Yeah, you read the Constitution. Spending time and doing nothing. Didn't you see the tweets that I put out? Showed that he was, and the records of the phone calls he made to the National Guard, to the mayor, to Nancy Pelosi. You're on the wrong side of history, and it'll all get proven out. And it was a proclamation, said go home and be at peace. And that's exactly what's required for the Insurrection Act. But it's all my opinion, right? Oh my. Disclose TV. Just in court documents, alleged that Jeffrey Epstein recorded S3X tapes of Prince Andrew, Bill Clinton, and Sir Richard Branson. Oh, we'll see. Well, that's going to get people's ears up. But here you go. CNN. DJT put this out. CNN's inaugural road. There, real Donald Trump. CNN's inaugural road to 270 shows Trump in a position to win the White House. So that's what you got to. We'll get the ones who stole the election. I mean, they'll pay. It'll never happen again. I can tell you that. Because what I'm thinking is they're going to maneuver. Wait a second, I got a notification up here. Pappy Two Bears stopped by and bought me some coffee. He's like, buy me a coffee. I appreciate it, Pappy Two Bears. And I want to thank Norm. He came in yesterday morning early and got me some coffee. I got to thank him at the end of the broadcast. And the broadcast before that, Tennessee and Christopher helped me out. Tennessee and Christopher, if you guys are out. I know Tennessee's out there. I don't think I've seen Christopher yet. But I do appreciate it. Pappy Two Bears, thank you so much for buying me a coffee. But anyway, here we go. Here's something else Mr. T put out. Talk about courts in the land. What's the courts going to say about this? I just put this out, but Mr. T also put it out. Fulton County DA Fannie Willis is alleged to have hired and paid her boyfriend $654,000, and you worried about my little pint bottles of Paul Revere blended whiskey. Give me a break. In state funds during her investigation and prosecution of Donald Trump. If true, this could be criminal. And we had Barclay cigarettes too. You get them for $1.49 a pack. But anyway, if this is true, it could be criminal. But back to those S3X tapes, this is what they're really worried about. This is what's keeping Michelle awake. This is what is making Barack Obama say they got to get more aggressive with Trump. This right here. Executive Order 13773. enforcing federal law with respect to transnational criminal organizations and preventing international trafficking. Signed on February 9th, 2017. The you-know-what is going to hit the fan. That's what they're worried about. And Nikki Haley right here. This is going to be a question about Kamala. Nobody wants her anyway, but the Gateway Pundit. In Nikki Haley's situation, reports indicate that her parents in 1972, based on the Constitution interpreted by Paulina Gracia, that disqualifies Haley from president or vice presidential candidacy under the 12th Amendment. So we'll see that. You know, a lot of people were talking about McStain not being able to be president because he wasn't born in America. But his parents were citizens. It doesn't matter where he was born at. If your parents are American citizens, you're an American citizen if you were born in Cameroon. But anyway, so we'll see which way that ball bounces. Here's something for you. Freedom. What do you got to say about this? New evidence suggests there was never voting contraption election audit performed in Georgia following 2020 election. They said they did one. I believe a court ordered it. I know Alito ordered the Pennsylvania ballots to be secured and somebody violated the court order. What happens when you violate a court order from a Supreme Court justice? I know the judge in your county or town or whatever, Judge Pumpkin or whatever, in the smallest little hamlet in the country, can put you in jail right then and there, from your chair to a jail cell for contempt of court. Okay? So what happens when they violate Supreme Court justices? Speaking of that, here's that guy that jumped at that judge right here. She said bring him in by any means way necessary. Well, it looks like he's got some kind of rag around his face, but he's got one of them things they had around Hannibal Lecter. Plus they had waist chains, ankle chains, chains around his wrist and everything. She gave him 19 months, not for what he was in there for, but for what he did. So I'm saying judges don't need to be no drawn out trials and all this kind of stuff. You mess around in a judge's courtroom or you violate a court order, you can very swiftly find yourself behind bars. So we shall see. Oh, here's another shot of the Germs there in Germany. If people didn't think that was a big protest, like I said, that's just one. That's just one out of 360 locations. Anyway, here we go. Obama urged Biden campaign to move aggressively against Trump at private lunch. That sounds a little rough to me. What does he mean by move aggressively against Trump when they've already arrested him twice and they've charged him I don't know how many times? What does he mean by aggressive? They're getting very, very nervous. But like I said, the media has the power to ignore. Right here. Right here. There's not a 5-figure an hour prostitute on the planet that serviced Hunter Biden more enthusiastically than the mainstream media. Boy, howdy, ain't that the truth? All they got to do is ignore. And to give you an idea, imagine, if you will, that John Kerry and Obama were able to get away with what they had set up during the Obama administration. Two things with the United Nations. One was, under certain circumstances, the U.S. was supposed to get an agreement with the United Nations that they would have the authority to come and oversee elections in this country using foreign troops, United Nation troops. Remember that? Remember when they had an agreement in the hopper where it would have been all right for the UN to come into this country to help enforce gun control laws? Remember when John Kerry and Barack Hussein Obama had those agendas on up at the UN? And the media didn't report on it. They ignored it. The power to ignore can put us in situations where we get subjected to rules, treaties, and laws that we never were told were in the hopper. So that's one way a selective media can ignore things and damage us very badly. The other thing is instances like that old man up in Utah that got raided at 6 o'clock in the morning before dawn, lost his life. He was disabled. They drug him out in the street and left him and went through his house for over an hour because the raid was ordered on him because they said he was threatening Biden. The media ignored it. Imagine that happening if nobody around the country knows what's going on in Germany. Nobody knows in the country of Germany itself exactly why these farmers are protesting, and they don't know the extent of it just by the media ignoring it. We could have in this country thousands of people that get drug out just like that old man did in Utah, and nobody ever know about it. We could have thousands of people doing just what I was talking about earlier, arguing with freedom about, going around from drop box to drop box with bags full of pieces of paper. Okay? And nobody know about it. Except we know about it. We got the video of it. All right? We got the movie. How many thousands of MULES? Don't put the title of the movie in because I get in trouble for it. That's the power to ignore. Where laws can get passed that people didn't even have time to object to, and where abuses can occur to the people that others don't even know is occurring. Keep that in your mind, folks. That's why the first thing we got to get rid of is the corrupt media, the power to ignore. Hi, MS Motorsports. How you doing? Val, how you doing? Let me see. Hi, Awakened Trillium. How you doing? Oh, I get to talking. I don't worry about something on the screen. Watch X22. He leaves one picture up for an hour and 10 minutes. Where'd freedom go? I'm trying to argue. Yeah, Richard, proudly red for now. Nebraska. For now. Did you all... Where'd he go? Gave up on me, didn't he? That's all right. I was going to play Trump again, putting out the historic proclamation activating the U.S. military. That's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. Daggone it. Here we go. Here's an update. Oh, before I get into the update on a TRANS shooter, okay? This picture I showed you all, and I wanted to show other people in the chats, but you know, a lot of people, I got to get that name off there. A lot of people, and I didn't get into it, we're talking about Dershowitz, right? Y'all with me? Are you guys with me? Dershowitz. Everybody's saying, oh, he's been down there and he, this and that, about Alan Dershowitz. Let me remind you of something. Alan Dershowitz was Trump's attorney for the first impeachment, okay? Alan Dershowitz countersued the person that made those accusations and statements about him. He did go to Epstein Island, right? But that he was abusing anybody, he sued over that. Also, like I said, he represented Trump before Congress. He's in the congressional record arguing for Trump against impeaching him for his first impeachment. He has the show, the Dersh Show. But let me get you to think of something else. I can have a camera that looks like a button on my coat, okay? A button on my coat. Smaller than that, really. You think maybe Dershowitz got this picture you're looking at of the security room for Epstein Island? It showed the I'll say basement rooms instead of underground tunnels. The basement under the temple. I mean, how are you going to get people on the inside? He didn't have to participate in any of that stuff. He could have just scoped the place out and took pictures. And remember, patriots were installed in key places. And I'm just saying, don't judge people. We'll get the truth when it's time to come out. And he did stand up for Trump during the first impeachment. And he's never put forth any here like this right here. He's never supported anything like this. California, to provide free sex changes for illegal immigrants. I'm going to leave Gavin Newsom's picture up for the next half an hour. How about that? No, I won't. I won't do that. Brian Clinkscale. We don't allow caps in the chats, Brian. And sorry to hear that you're having problems with your family. That's the first I've heard of that. Ovens on the island. Christina, don't fall for clickbait now. We'll find out a lot of stuff that was going on. I don't think there were ovens. But I did hear there was chutes, as in CHUTES, that they would put, just shoot it right out in the ocean. They didn't have to burn anything on the island or incinerate anything or do anything like that. You just put it down like a garbage chute, and it goes right in the ocean. Hi, Lone Wolf. So anyway, now he left before I could show this right here. What the heck? There is no evidence of, he's right. He's right. Dead voters, confirmed. Corrupted tabulation software, confirmed. Dominion executive part of Biden's team, confirmed. Observers illegally removed, confirmed. Mathematic impossibilities, confirmed. 15,000 ballots missed in Georgia, confirmed. More voters than people in the country. Confirmed. Fake signatures accepted. Confirmed. Whistleblowers alleging wrongdoing. Confirmed. Hundreds of sworn affidavits. Confirmed. Voting system processing parts from China. Confirmed. Voting machines vulnerable to attacks. Confirmed. Where'd he go? Huh? What do you got to say about that? There you go, folks. Get a screenshot of that if you want. Put it in your quiver. I don't know what more you can tell people. And that global warming, I think I heard that crap. Here we go, right here. In 1948, when Al Gore was born, Earth had 132,000 glaciers. Today, just 73 years later, only 130,000 glaciers remain. Fraud. I went to all my trouble to find these memes for freedom, and he leaves. Daggone it. Anyway, here's an update on this TRANS SHOOTR. Media blames bullying for gender fluid teen killing, KILL 6th grader, injuring 5. And I was right. He was in a school bathroom when he filmed that little video. He said, "Now we wait," and made a face. He knew what he's going to do. How is doing something to harm a 6th grader going to? It sounds to me like the one hurting the 6th grader is the bully. Okay. But Andy No put this out. The same guy. Trans activists are misleading the public about the recent SHOOT of a trans activist in Maryland. And here's what they put down here. Human rights campaign. What parent would want their young one around something like what you're looking at on the screen? Talk about negligent parenting, letting something like that around your kids. But anyway, Human Rights Campaign put out, Megan Riley Lewis, a trans woman and mother of 2, devoted her life to feeding and housing queer people. She was KILL'd in Bel Air, Maryland on December 27th, 2023, marking the 31st violent KILLING of a trans or gender nonconforming person last year. Like they're hunted people, that they're being bullied. Wait a minute. Here's what Andy No said it straight right here. Your post is misleading, Megan Riley Lewis. Picture below, previously known as Jimmy Wayne Lewis, lived as a heterosexual male. Lewis's 2 children have a mother, the woman who was granted a protective order against Lewis in a domestic violence case. The man charged in this homicide incident says Lewis accosted and pursued him during a food delivery, leading to a fight. He was SHOT and died. Brian Delenn, the charged man, had documented injuries. Okay? So, no, we got mental problems, okay? And I don't think it's funny, no, and I'm not making fun of it, no. I'm pointing out that something needs to be done because there's a lot of violence coming out of that. Just like Donald Trump said, Donald Trump Jr., another day, another TRANS shooter. per capita, there's more violent. Is there a more violent group of people anywhere in the world? Okay. Given a tiny fraction of the population they make up, it doesn't seem like anyone else even comes close. And that's true. We got to be realistic. But where to go? Can't be real. No. So speaking of delusional disorders, an astonishing 81% of Dems think Trump's name should be removed from ballots. Let me tell you, folks, we got a big deal coming up on the 15th in Iowa. And I have this video from Maria Bartiromo. It's a long video. It's got Newt Gingrich in it, but it lays out dates of a lot of things that are going to happen. And I'll go ahead and play it. But let me tell you, this close to the election, 10 months, maybe a little bit more than that, you got 81% of Dems that want a person's name off the ballot simply by accusations, no charges, no trial, except exoneration, okay? Exoneration in the Senate, okay? You've got 81% of these people that want to take away our rights to vote for the candidate we want. Let me tell you, that's a recipe for disaster in this country. And we're not the one adding the seasoning, okay? It's people that won't wake the hell up and open their eyeballs. So I'm going to play this video. Newt Gingrich is a guest, and he'll talk about New Hampshire coming up. But he'll also talk about Iowa. This is the setup in Iowa as we see it now. But anyway, if you're all ready, I'll go ahead and play it. He's going to talk about different strategies and what he thinks of Michelle stepping in instead of Joe, and a lot of other stuff, and a lot of dates that are important too.
Now, joining me with analysis is the former Speaker of the House and Fox contributor, Newt Gingrich. Mr. Speaker, always a pleasure. Thanks very much for being here.
Well, listen, Happy New Year. And you look at those numbers, it's really hard to imagine in the next week how Trump is going to do anything except sweep Iowa. He's built his lead. He's actually worked the state. You know, Ron DeSantis gets 200 people. Trump gets 7,000. That sort of tells you something. And Iowa is a caucus state where people have to care enough to turn out. And I have no doubt that the Trump system has identified who have committed to turning out for the president. So you have to assume, and we'll be talking, I'm sure you and I'll talk about it after it happens, but I think we have to assume that next week is going to be a huge victory for Donald Trump and a big step towards the nomination. A week later is probably the most dangerous state in the country for him because independents can vote there. The Republican governor is opposed to him. And, you know, he may only carry, but my prediction is he'll probably carry New Hampshire by a significant margin. When you add that in, that means for all practical purposes, in January or February, and he will be the nominee for all practical purposes, and will be in a general election.
If he crushes it on the 15th, this coming Monday, and if he crushes it in New Hampshire, for all practical purposes, he'll be the nominee. Now you know why Michelle can't sleep and all the others are nervous too, but I'll let them keep going.
Choice between a failing, amazingly destructive incumbent who every single month gets weaker, and a president who reminds us that we had better gas prices, better inflation, better employment, better international relations when he was president.
Yeah. And, you know, when you look at the politics calendar, the way the primaries are set up, I'm wondering if, in fact, Trump locks up the nomination and Biden locks up his nomination on the Democrat side by the middle of March.
I think that's very likely true. I know there are a lot of Democrats who would like to get rid of Biden, but they can't figure.
There's some dates there. January 9th was already gone. Congress is back. January 13th, Taiwan presidential election. Okay, is China going to do something? All right, we know about Iowa. Then we got the first spending deadline. And if it isn't met on the 22nd, we'll have a government shutdown on the 23rd, New Hampshire primary. Just keep it in. It's going to get hairy.
Figure out a way to do it, and I don't think they will. So I think the fact is our primary choices this year are going to be between former President Trump and the current president. And given the economy, given the 12 million, I mean, think about what those are Biden's illegal immigrants, because it's Biden's illegal immigration policy. It's deliberate. That's going to be a big issue. Crime is going to be a big issue. The economy is going to be a big issue. And every one of those issues, Joe Biden is going to lose.
Well, what about all of these challenges, Newt? I mean, you've got could see a government shutdown. And then, of course, you've got all of these legal attacks against President Trump. Do you think that any of this has will matter?
Well, let's divide the two. Government shutdowns is Joe Biden's problem. He's the president. It's his job to figure out how to keep it open. If it doesn't stay open, it's Joe Biden's failure. He won't negotiate. He won't talk. He won't confront the border. He won't do the obvious, easy things. So in the end, the country's going to say the Biden administration failed once again, because the House Republicans will have a proposal. They will get it through. I think that the Speaker, Mike Johnson, is doing a pretty darn good job of unifying his conference, as you pointed out to Jim Jordan. I mean, with a 2-vote margin, I can't imagine as a former Speaker trying to get as much done as they're going to get done. So first of all, any failure will be Joe Biden. Second, I think when you get to these court challenges, they are perfect example of Venezuela or Russia or any other place that has totally phony systems.
Now, that's the other thing we didn't even get a chance to discuss is these phony charges against Trump. And he is going to be in physically in court tomorrow. Okay, so let's keep an eye on that. But he said we have a 2-vote lead in the House. I think that's been reduced to 1, but that is a very slender lead in the House. But I'll let him continue.
When you look at the Attorney General of New York asking for $375 million in a fraud case in which there are 0 people claiming fraud, not a single person came in and said that Donald Trump defrauded them, but the case in D.C., where you have a radical left-wing judge who is openly contemptuous of the president. You have, I think, a totally out-of-control prosecutor. And you have a district area where the voters were 19-1 against Trump. You're not going to get an honest jury. Well, you're not going to have a chance to have a jury of your peers. Democrats use the law to try to destroy their opponents. They actually increase the strength of Donald Trump.
Newt, I think the Democrats have figured this out at this point, and they are looking for their next move. What about this rumor that has been floating around that the Democrats are going to switch out Joe Biden for Michelle Obama at the convention? Do you see that happening?
How do you do that? I mean, you have a president of the United States who's spending trillions of dollars, paying off all of his friends. It's the most corrupt administration in history. He's going to have all the delegates. They will have voted.
He's saying, how do you do that? How do you switch out Joe Biden for Michelle? Well, I like Newt Gingrich. He gave a friend of mine a gavel when he came into town one time. I didn't get to meet him, but I did see him. But Newt, they're going to show you how they'll switch out Joe Biden. Joe Biden's going to get switched out. And I see you're back, Freedom. I'll talk to you in a second about the Second Circuit Court. Good. They went against Trump because we want them to violate the black letter of law. So when it goes to the Supreme Court and everything gets ironed out, we'll know which judges we need to remove. Okay? We can't have judges that violate the law sitting on the bench. We'll let Newt finish up.
Voted for him. He's gone through the primary, he's gone through the conventions. How do you show up suddenly and say, gee, why don't we dump the guy that every single one of us is committed to? And furthermore, how do you do that and jump past Kamala Harris for somebody else? I think that the part of the black community that's deeply democratic would explode if they saw Kamala Harris being dumped for someone.
All right, we'll see. Newt, great.
Well, Kamala had 1%. She might have got to 2%, but she had 1%. And I don't think the people would explode the way Newt thinks that they will explode, especially if they replace her with Michelle, who has much more than 1% of the Democrat vote. But anyway, this just real quick, just in Indiana, GOP Congressman Larry Bouchon, who represents the 8th District, has announced he won't run for re-election in 2024. Another, I believe, rhino hitting the road. Okay, but if things were static, we would only have a 1-vote lead. So we'll see how that goes. And here we got Maria talking about what is going to be coming up. Well, here's a video I didn't put up. I found it. Let me get something on the screen real quick. What are you guys looking at right here? I'm going to blow it up so you can see. What are you looking at right here? Beetlejuice. What do you guys think you're looking at? And I'll tell you what you're looking at. You know, Freedom, you were talking about, you need all these hundreds of people, thousands of people, and it's impossible. And Trump didn't do nothing while all those terrible MAGA people attacked the Capitol. Worst day since Pearl Harbor, blah, blah, blah. Well, what you're looking at here might be Beetlejuice, but it is somebody who's going to be losing just as much sleep, if not more, than Michelle Obama, okay? Because they got infiltrated. Right here, January 6th, false flag, liberals in disguise. Liberals disguising themselves as Trump supporters to attack the Capitol on January 6th. Now, I can tell you that I have personally, before I started recording videos, before I ever did videos, I saw plenty of people that were captured on the Capitol grounds changing into Trump gear, okay? Now here, I'll play it and then I'll tell you what I think happened, okay? Beetlejuice here, okay? This is a creepy malcontent, okay? A misfit and a malcontent that's heading to the Capitol that didn't realize he was dealing with probably a member of military intelligence. Okay, here we go.
The mask. You should wear this. I'm wondering if I should wear, what do you think I should wear as the hat? Should I wear this or this? Yeah, here, this is your mask.
Oh my god, the America mask.
Dude, I'm not fucking with you. You gotta blend in. I know you can't stomach wearing it, but like you need to blend in. You have to have a visual identifier. You're not coming if you're not wearing this.
Alright.
You could also wear this.
Yeah, the America hat might be my move. But we'll see. I'll bring them both in my backpack.
We've got Fox News. Oh wait,
CNN. We're ready to.
we're ready.
I don't know if we're committing crimes doing this, but you know, like
Are you insinuating that I don't work for all three of these companies simultaneously?
I am at least a little bit insinuating that.
You feel like you think that I don't work for all of them. They won't trust you unless there's a visual, like there's something visual.
Okay. You all saw it. Beetlejuice there. So his identity is known. And I want to tell you all that there are certain branches that are exempt from the Posse Comitatus Act, okay, about operating on U.S. soil. One of them is the U.S. Marine Corps, okay? They're exempt from the Posse Comitatus Act, so they can conduct military intelligence operations on U.S. soil. And if people don't believe me, where is the main base for the Marine Corps? Where's the main base for the Marine Corps? Freedom says this is Walter Masterson. Well, he's going to do jail time. Write that down, Freedom. He's well known. That's okay, because he was making himself look like a Trump supporter. Him and dozens of others. So where is the main base for the Marine Corps? Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. And I'll play this in a minute too, right here. Play this. See what you all are up against, Freedom, what you're coming up against this month. Dun, 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 dun. Let's see. All right. I don't care if he's got 1 million subscribers, Freedom. His rear end's going to jail. Quantico. I don't see it. I'll just go ahead and go with it because I got to shut the broadcast down a little bit. Not Frisco. Good try. Awaken, though, but it's a good guess. Quantico, not California. Quantico. Marine base in Quantico. Now, what is supposedly the premier domestic investigative agency? And I'll go ahead and answer that. The F.B.I. is the premier domestic investigative agency, the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigations. Where do they take all their evidence for analysis? DNA analysis, fiber analysis, take videos to examine them, to analyze voice recordings, fingerprints, all that stuff. Quantico. They have the highest grade of investigative methods, equipment, anything you can think of in the country. Quantico Marine Base. So, yeah, that's good that he has all those friends. He's got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, but I thought you told me it was impossible to have thousands and thousands of people to be participating in screwing things up at the ballots. It was impossible. And it's impossible to have all these thousands and thousands of people on the same page to disrupt counting the electoral votes. That's what happened. They disrupted the lawful counting of electoral votes, and more importantly, the constitutional right for people to object on the record to votes. That is what they did. Hi, Debbie. How you doing? Just relax. Yeah, that's the main thing. That's right, Robin. Quantico in Virginia. Quantico Marine Base in Virginia. He is not going to jail. He is actually a talented comedian, blah, blah, blah. Check out his, I see what you're saying. Where'd it go? My chats jump around on me. I have to find them again. I'm halfway through reading it. It jumps away from me. Check out his visits to the crazy far-right school boards about their book bans. No, that is where they're removing pornographic material from their schools, okay? You can't have that in front of children. It's criminal, okay? It's called inducement. It's called indecent liberties. It's called lewd and lascivious. So you've let us know that this individual with hundreds of thousands of followers is a pre-vert, okay? And hey, here's the way I feel about it. Cheers to everyone. You don't give one iota. I finally found a meme that says what I want to say without using wordy dirt. For those of you who don't give one iota about offending woke culture, okay? Leave our kids alone. Quit putting filthy things in front of them about exploring their S3 actuality. Those people need to be in jail. And they will be, and that's why they're so afraid. A lot of these doctors that are harming young ones with these procedures, Judgment Day is coming. And this here, people that put them in basements, okay, on islands and do things to them, they will have a short, a long drop with a short rope. I'll put it that way. Let's see. It is day 929 of Build Back Better. Nothing is built, nothing is back, nothing is better. Okay. So, yeah, this is, I'll put it up one more time. This is the world those people want to live in, those lunatics. California to provide free S3 exchanges for illegal immigrants is bad enough they're doing it to our own kids. But I'll play Maria real quick for y'all. And I'm going to close out with this little clip. And y'all think about what Hunter is, listen to the dates. There's so many school boards that are even banned in the Bible due to pornographic references. Yeah, okay. Whatever, freedom. What you're going to hear is dates that Hunter Biden's got to be in court, okay? Along with another, I know there were a lot of dates on that Newt Gingrich video. You might want to go back and check them out. Because at any time during those dates, there could be a FF. So keep your head on a swivel. Don't overreact. Don't be like those people in California, I think it was, that fell for that BS about 10-foot aliens at a mall, okay? And all they had was footage of police cars outside and people talking about aliens and all this crap. Don't fall for it. All right. And anyway, just think about these dates that are going to happen all this week and all this month. It's a short video. But anyway, folks, you all have a great night. I'll be broadcasting probably day after tomorrow. I appreciate everybody that stopped by. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe so you can be part of the chats. And thank you all for being respectful to one another. Have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. Listen to Maria. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
Election year. Congress returns to work tomorrow morning, facing 2 government funding deadlines to pass a budget for the fiscal year or face a government shutdown within 2 weeks' time. Republicans are pushing for a standalone bill to secure the southern border, while Democrats want to attach aid to Ukraine as one of the conditions for any new border legislation. As the U.S. national debt surpasses $34 trillion, with interest on that debt alone at nearly $750 billion. Meanwhile, a world away, Taiwan will amidst the start of the U.S.'s election season as well. Now 8 days away from the Iowa caucuses happening on January 15th. Will the Chinese Communist Party interfere in these elections? Former President Trump is on the campaign trail in the Midwest this weekend, looking to secure his 3rd Republican presidential nomination as the 45th president continues to hold a commanding lead over the GOP field in primary polls. The House will also resume an impeachment inquiry against President Biden in the coming weeks over allegations of influence peddling and bribery, as the House Judiciary Committee begins the process of holding his son, Hunter Biden, in contempt of Congress this upcoming Wednesday for failing to appear for a closed-door deposition last month. Hunter Biden is also set to make his first court appearance this Thursday in Los Angeles on federal tax charges. A busy week and a busy month.